Folks are calling the Knicks 145 to 118 blowout over the Nuggets the most impressive win of the season. I don't think it's that impressive. So let's talk some Knicks basketball with our New York Post Sports and New York Guy game host, Dexter Henry. Welcome to the. I would be like, welcome to the studio,
welcome.
but we're in the studio. We're
in the studio.
This is what we do.
This is what we do.
All right.
Except I never sit in this chair. I usually sit in that chair.
How's it feel over there?
It feels different, but it's good to be here with you, bro.
All right, circulation's a little bit different over
here.
Different. All right, let's talk about this impressive win that everybody's talking about, because I don't think it's impressive. I think it's what they should be doing, but we'll talk about that. First, we got to get your takeaways. What'd you think?
Well, from this game last night, I think one of the things you're going to see, Brandon, is everybody's going to talk about the offense, right?
Yep,
145 points on 45 assists. But the key thing I think people got to recognize is the defense. The defense came out strong. You didn't see that on Utah on Saturday. That was a huge takeaway for me. I love how the Knicks played in this one. The ball movement's been good all season. But can this team play with this defensive effort consistently throughout this season? In the games that they've lost, the 7 games they've lost this year, the defensive rating hasn't been good. The games they won like last night, it has been good. So to your point, do I find this impressive? I do, but it's something you'd like to see from them consistently, that effort on the defensive end.
Well, does that surprise you? We're talking about a coach, Tom Thibodeau coached team who is a defensive-minded head coach, and we're, almost one-third into the NBA, one-third way into the NBA season. Is it surprising you where it's like, all right, the defense is finally coming around?
I'm not surprised at that because of the new pieces they have, Brandon. When you look at this team, right, and everybody they've integrated into the starting lineup now, you have Josh Hart becoming a starter, OG Anunoby in the starting lineup, even though he started a bit last year, but you have Mikal Bridges and Karl Towns. It's a lot of new pieces, right?
Okay.
And they got to feel comfortable with each other. And defense, in any sport, is about communication. And those guys have to learn to feel and communicate, understand where everybody is. And then we also know Karl Towns. He's not the greatest defender, but he's got to get more comfortable. And I think as you see that comfortability come together with this team, they should improve. Can this team get to anywhere between 10th and 15th in the league in defense? I think they can. They have the talent. As you mentioned, they have the coach. We'll see if they're able to put it together and get it done.
So they lost to the Jazz on Saturday in a game I feel like, or can we agree that they should have won that game?
You got to win that game in Salt Lake City against the Jazz.
So would you call this Nuggets game, one, a complete win or a statement win? Or because of the names that they have on this team that you've mentioned, I feel like this is what they are expected to do?
Yeah, no, I think you expect them to do this, right? You expect them to play this here. Look, to the fans out there, the Jazz game, that is a terrible loss for the Knicks. It's a game you have to win. The Jazz shot incredibly from downtown. The Knicks did not have much defensive resistance in this game. Now, you ask, Brandon, is this a statement win? I think, yes, it is. It's their best win of the season. It's against a quality team. A guy who's playing at an MVP level would be my vote for MVP right now in Nikola Jokic. So they get this win on the road, but the key for me is they played good defense from the start. That's what Knicks fans want to see from this team. You know how good this team can be offensively. Can they put it together defensively? And so, yes, they made a statement, but none of that matters if they don't back it up in Dallas, right? If they don't back it up again in Charlotte. That's what you want to see from the Knicks is, can you take a statement and turn it into a streak of wins, 3, 4, 5 games, put that together. That's
so it's slowly coming together is what
seems like it.
Slowly coming together. And I don't want to jinx them or anything. Before we give flowers to OG, how far would you say they are from Boston after that performance?
I still think there's a gap between the Knicks and Boston. And here's the thing. Boston killed them in the opening game of the season, right? They went nuts from downtown. The gap is big because the Knicks still have to get better defensively. They still have a ways to go defensively. So if they can do that and they become a better defensive team, like I said, in the top 10 to 15, now you've closed that gap, Brandon. But I still think there's a bit of a gap between them and Boston.
OG Anunoby.
Yes.
Highest paid Knick ever.
Yes.
The guy is the absolute baller, career high 40 points on the night. He's been on some sort of revenge tour throughout the month of November, I feel like. And I'm not trying to diminish anyone. I'm not trying to cause no problems or anything. But in terms of what you bring to this team, is it safe to say that OG Anunoby is the most important piece on this squad?
Oh, I would say that he's not the engine. That is definitely Jalen Brunson. But important because he's their two-way player that's holding it all together, right? He's playing tremendous defense, and then he's been so impressive on the offensive end where he's shooting from downtown. 5 of 7 last night against the Nuggets. Very impressive there. He shot the ball well all season long. He's averaging over 21 points per game. I think he's been the most consistent Knick for sure. I don't know if I'll call him the most important piece on the squad. I think he's the most consistent Knick. But in terms of defense, he's their defensive leader. He's been really well. He's been their best two-way player all season. So I'm going to call him the most consistent Knick. And now you got to start talking about it with him. You got to start talking about all-star, the way he's playing. He's playing like an all-star. I think the Knicks will get at least two in the game this year. But OG is making a case that he could be an all-star. And so he's definitely an important piece on the squad, been the most consistent player on the squad this year. We could be, ask me this in like a month. Right. I might say he's definitively the most important player.
So he's not the engine, he's the transmission.
He's the transmission right now. He's the transmission. And listen, your car ain't going anywhere without the transmission.
That's what I'm saying. So, all right. So
that is kind of important.
That is very important. So thank you for running circles around my answer. All right, real quick. After last night's performance, how good can this team be?
Well, look, that's the question, Brandon, right? That's the question about this Knicks team is how good they can be. They can be as good as their defense is. This is a top 3 offense in the NBA. Does this team have a chance to win an NBA championship? Absolutely. But it's like I said throughout this video, it's about their defense being good. So, yes, I think they can be NBA contenders, but that defense has to get to part really good. It has to be above average if they're going to do that.
All right, well, all eyes are on Go New York, Go New York, go. Thanks for hopping on with this, man.
Glad to be here with you, bro.